Howdy everyone, welcome to the live stream. It is Wednesday, and that means here at Story Greenlight, it's new content day. So what I've been doing is alternating a produced piece with a live stream and kind of gotten into a good rhythm with that. So feeling good about this, glad you're here. Here is what we're going to be talking today. This is of course Story Greenlight, where we're all about helping content creators like you take the power of creative video editing and storytelling skills to help you connect with your audience, turn up the impact of your work, and to change people's lives. So that's what we're all about. If you're new here, definitely make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you can always get notifications of streams like this. Here is what we're talking about today. We are talking about the thing under the thing. And it's kind of it's one of those things. It's like, well, what is it? If you've been around Story Greenlight for any amount of time, you know that I talk about this a lot. So I've been getting some questions from people like, okay, I get that this thing under the thing is important, but how does it actually work? So looking forward to digging into that really, more so than I have in the produced pieces up to this point. And I'll tell you right now, it's about this. The thing under the thing really comes down to connection. The only way an audience is going to watch your content and keep watching it is if they find some sort of connection to it. And some of those connections are kind of surface level. Others are really, really deeply rooted. And those are the ones that really drive the connection in a very, very powerful way. And so when you get those connections in place, your audience will be super glued to you and to your content. And that is important because when you get an audience that loves your content, they tell other people, your platform grows, and eventually the algorithm gods find out and they start helping out and everyone goes home happy. So that's why this is important. I'm going to make sure that, all right, here we are. I'm just going to assume picture and sound are good for everyone unless you start yelling at me in the comments otherwise. All right, so in case you are new here and we haven't met yet, my name is Jeff Bartsch, and I'm a full-time television editor here in Los Angeles, and I've personally participated in thousands of hours of finished television. I've learned a lot about storytelling along the way, and I absolutely love telling stories, and I love helping people tell the stories that are most important to them. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited that you're here. All right, so let's check this out. And first, as we get into this, I just want to give a heads up. I'm on a limited time frame today. We need to be done by the bottom of the hour. So instead of going for an hour like we typically do, every stream has always ended up like right around an hour. I haven't even planned it that way, go figure. But today I got a hard out at the bottom of the hour. So got to stay focused. And so I'm going to keep focused on questions that are on topic to what we're talking about here. So if there's something completely out of left field, please don't be offended if I don't really dig into it today, because this isn't the day to do that. I love you all, and time is limited. So let's talk about this. The question that I want to start with for you is, what sort of content do you love so much that you keep watching it, and why? And saying, well, why do I watch it? Because I like it, so I just keep watching. That, my friend, is a cop-out. So you actually have to say, this is something that I like so much, whether it's online content like on YouTube, or whether it's a TV show or something else. What do you like so much that you keep watching it? Because you have that connection. So in the meantime, while you're thinking and while the streaming delay is catching up with everyone here, let me tell you a little bit about someone that I love checking out their content. A friend of mine named Cody Wanner. He is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He is a daily vlogger, and the guy is absolutely nuts. He actually I found him. I first discovered Cody on YouTube by he went to New York for some reason for a meeting, and he ended up camping out outside the 368 Broadway headquarters with Casey Neistat. He ended up running into Casey and had an interaction with him, and that video kind of blew up for him. And so that's how I found out about Cody. But here is how I have since realized that here is why I keep watching Cody's stuff. Number one, I have lots of connections with him in terms of my values. He is a husband, he's a father, he is a full-time creative, he is a part owner in a production company in Harrisburg. He's a follower of Jesus, as am I, so that's a lot of foundational beliefs that we share in that. He is, the guy's inspiring. He is crazy busy. I mean, he's not, you know, he has so many irons in the fire, but he still cranks out really good content every day. It's kind of like my little kids are, my son Levi is 2.5 years old, and we just started him potty training. And don't want to go into too much information, but you know, it's one of the things that we've been noticing was that he has been seeing friends of his at daycare. They use the potty, and so he's like, oh well, maybe I should do that myself. It's that social proof thing, and basically that's one of the functions that Cody serves in terms of me continuing to watch his content. It's like he is so slammed with his life, and yet he is so present and he is so real, and he keeps cranking out this content. What's my excuse? So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy checking out Cody and his stuff. So back to the question for you. What sort of content do you love so much that you keep watching it, and why? So let's check out the contents, the comments. Howdy everyone. Welcome, Flyride. Good to see you, man. Glad you're here. Glad you're here live. Howdy, Javier. What's up, Date? Howdy, howdy. Matt Edwards. Good to see you, man. Lewis. Notification gang right here. Good to see you. Let's see. Lewis says, could you talk about emotional connection? I noticed that in my feed, videos pop up that are revealing something or playing on scarcity. How can you tell a story that is positive? Well, that is, you know, that's pretty much tied into what we're going to be talking about. So I'll get into that. Howdy, Duck Gun Chronicles. Good to see you. Lewis says, I watch so many camera reviews. I love educational aspects of learning about lenses and camera bodies. I should be out shooting more, but tech reviews get me. That's cool. So the question for you, Lewis, is why do you like the camera review stuff? Is it about the learning? Is it about imagining what it would be like to get good gear, or like I'd be curious to dig a couple levels deeper under that. Javier says, I like the content because Jeff brings so much value to creators. Awesome. Well, thank you, man. That is the goal. That is absolutely the goal. Matt Edwards, Tim Schmoyer's Family Channel, great stories, emotional content. Yes, they have so many good things going on. Tim Schmoyer's Family Channel called Schmovies has so many good things going on with it, and one of the top elements of that is they are like laser focused on story and emotion and ongoing storylines tied into overarching themes. So they're not just like, okay, we're going to be doing a vlog today. It's like, yeah, no, these are the values that our family holds, and these are the values that our family holds, and this is how we're going to demonstrate this. We're going to show this, and we don't have all the answers all along the way. So, Flyride, so happy to hear you, brother in Christ. That's dope. I am a student. I am a humble student of Jesus. Absolutely. Good to hear, man. Stories that are aspirational, positive, and motivating, says What's Update. Very cool. Duck Gun Chronicles, how can you tell a story with hunting? That is an excellent question. We're going to be digging into that. Hang around. What's update? I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Boom! Yes, yes, yes. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how much that quote by Maya Angelou has stuck in my head for years. I mean, and it's so true. Like, for instance, with talking about Cody's vlog, other than the guy doing random things hanging around with like floating unicorn bathroom or like pool toys, the guy is so inspiring. He is like the entire point of his channel. You'll see when you go there, you go to his channel art, it says encouraging and inspiring entrepreneurs and creatives. That's what he's all about. And so that's why, I mean, and you feel that. You feel that energy, you feel that uplift, and that is spot on with what Dr. Angelou said. Let's see. Lewis, I wish I knew why, but I'm obsessed with tech reviews, he says. Maybe it's the fantasy of watching lens reviews of luxury lenses or knowing that this lens captures the story, so I don't know, but now my feed is all cameras. Fair enough. So let's see, Fly Ride. Ultimately, the reason I like them is because they show me the fear and pain is all about the climb and journey, and I should feel lucky to be going through it. Cool. Right on, man. That's... Not everyone shares that attitude. They're like, well, I want zero pain. I want to get where I'm going without all the crap in the middle. The thing that these folks who are trying to short circuit all the conflict is they don't realize that in the story of their life, the conflict, all that junk in the middle, is what changes us. That's what brings transformation. And that is the most powerful result of storytelling is change. And I could rant on that for quite a while. So yeah, basically, Catholic Marathon Mom, boom. Yes, indeed. So I forgot to turn off my phone. It's lighting up and making me distracted. Not happening. Want to be present with y'all. So that's that. Okay. So that's an initial idea for why you guys for why you guys watch what you watch and why you watch it. If you're seeing this on the replay, make sure that you drop a comment and say what you like to watch and why you keep watching it, because that's a way to help us all continue to learn. So you can see that the way to start figuring these things out is by saying why. You're asking questions. What is important about this? What do I want to see happen? Why is this such a big deal? And it's all about asking the right questions. And I constantly ask questions when I'm conceiving of content, when I'm editing content, either for myself, for the YouTube channel, like. And by myself I mean you, because really that's who I'm doing it for. And whether I'm doing content for other people for a paycheck, which is actually what this is right here. It's my Avid Bay. And that is the growing, the ever-growing stack of sparkling water. It's an installation. It's an art installation piece here in my bay. You should see people's face when they walk in. They're like, "Whoa, somebody likes his sparkling water." It's true. And so asking those questions is mission critical. And I actually have a list of the top questions that I always ask myself. And I've been building this list over almost between, depending on how you talk about it, like 15 or 20 years. I've been cutting professionally, but then there's stuff like the stuff that I was doing before, and like anyway, when you ask the right questions, it changes everything. It changes your content. It transforms your content into everything you want it to be. If you'd like a copy of that checklist, if you don't already have it, and I know a lot of you do, if you don't yet have a copy of it, number one, you need to get it. It's free. There's a link in the description for this video. And super cool, for those of you who want to go even farther, I have released a video course, an online video course that talks about how to go through all these questions, and I break them down one by one, and I help you ask the questions for your own content. There are action steps for you to actually apply these things to your own content. Super, super cool, overwhelmingly positive response so far. If you want to check that out, there's also a link for that online video course in the description below here. So that's that for the moment. And so now at this point, now that the time is half gone, it's time to keep cranking. It is time to revisit this thing and really dig in. So the thing under the thing is all about connection. How do we make those connections between our videos and our audience? Now, first off, number one, I want to say this concept applies to anyone who makes content of any style. It's easy to say, it's like, oh, well, I'm not a vlogger, I do tutorials, I do DIY stuff. This idea applies to you, full stop, period. And if it doesn't seem like it does, I encourage you to keep digging, because when you figure out how to apply this to your own content, it changes everything. And people start getting attached to your stuff. They're like, I really like, like I love the Fly Ride channel because he's not just talking about custom light installations. I really dig what he stands for. It's that kind of a thing. So that's the number one thing. This applies to you, full stop. Now, here's the second thing. Putting this stuff into play does not have to be obvious. You don't have to say it. You just need to know that it's there, and you have to build it in. You have to know it, and preferably you have to show it. Now, it's kind of like people who have large amounts of confidence or power. 9 out of 10 times, the people who have the most confidence and the people who have the most power, they do not broadcast. They say, "Look at me, I'm so confident," or "Look at me, I have lots of power." Mwahaha. They don't do that. They just are. They act because they are. So they're not going around broadcasting. They're not going around broadcasting, their inner character or their external status per se. Although some of them are, but they tend to be the exceptions, not the rule. They just are. So that applies directly to your content. You don't necessarily have to say that this is the core thing that I'm talking about in my content, and that's what I want you to know. It doesn't have to be that obvious. So if you're wondering about that, it's like be encouraged. It doesn't have to be as involved as that. So here are ways that we connect between our content and our audience. Now there's a continuum between the mental and emotional, and that mental and emotional thing, and don't worry, we're going to be coming back to that slide multiple times, so if you're taking notes, it'll be back, I promise. Of course, you could always just like rewind and hit the pause, because we can do that here. The continuum between thinking and feeling. When someone says, oh, when they have a mental connection to what you're talking about, it tends to be more surface-based. The farther you get from the mental to the emotional side of connection, the deeper the connection becomes. And it's because of things. It depends on, like if you're talking about a social grouping, there is a camaraderie between all of us here because we are part of the social group of creators. We're not just people who sit on the couch and mindlessly consume. We are active. We are adding value to the world. We are creators. That is a connection that you and I share. So that's, there's that. There's also the idea of a social grouping of your heritage, your background. There's a social grouping of athletic teams. We're going to get into that a little bit more in a bit. There are ways that you connect. You can talk about beliefs. You can all believe that people should be treated equally. You can believe that Democrats are ruining the world in the United States, and you can believe that Republicans are ruining the world in the United States. But whichever side of that you go on, or even if you're like, I hate taking both sides, I hate it being either or the other, no matter where you fall in that continuum, you will find people that believe that, and that is a way of connecting. You can talk about self-image. Holy moly, this is a really, really big deal. There is so much of what we do in terms of consumption ties into self-image. What can I associate myself with that will make me look cool, that will increase my status, either literally or in a perceived way? Man, I am really bummed because it's like we have 7 minutes left and I am just getting started, people. Oh, I've hardly talked with you guys yet. Oh, dang it. Clearly, I need to rethink the format if I'm gonna attempt a half-hour format here. So, here, an example. Sometimes that connection is obvious. It's obviously created. In 2012, the space shuttle Endeavour was transported to Los Angeles, and it was transported over the streets of Los Angeles to its final destination, downtown Los Angeles, at the California Science Center. Part of that stretch, it was pulled by a 2012 Toyota Tundra pickup truck. Now, why do you think they did that? Well, I'll tell you why. So they could put things like this up in their dealerships. And not only did Toyota get to brag on this, the social groupings of Ford versus Toyota get in on it too. So that means there's a social grouping that gets to attach status to themselves because my pickup is more badass than the Ford pickup. That's a fairly obvious. That is a fairly obvious connection that was forced. Now, here's a less obvious connection. New England Patriots. They have built a reputation. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have a history of pulling out wins under ridiculous pressure at the last moment, but time after time, they just make it happen. Man, oh man, do they make it happen. And so that is something that there are a lot of people, guaranteed there are a lot of people who are Patriots fans because they like being associated with a social group of, I am a winner. Now, let's talk about the poor Cleveland Browns. I can talk about the Cleveland Browns because my wife is from Cleveland and she knows their culture. There is a collective knowledge of shared pain and suffering because the Cleveland Browns are perennially terrible as a football team. But man, oh man, it makes things a lot better if you can throw a killer tailgate party. And that is a huge part of Cleveland Brown culture. You should see the tailgate parties that they throw outside the stadium on game days. It is crazy. Now, gonna quickly check in. Well, let's see. Let's go in a little bit. All right. I have just been given permission. I'm going to go an extra 10 minutes. So actually, video creators, Tim Schmoyer, I was not expecting to see you here, man. He says you can keep going. We have a call going on. So a couple more minutes for y'all. So checking in with some of your comments. Reason I want. Flyride says, I find the reason I really want to watch all the content from Casey Neistat, from Gary Vee, from Peter McKinnon is to see myself on the other side of the struggle. I love hearing their stories that remind me of mine. Yes, inspiration, absolutely. I missed that. Okay, Flyride, I missed that earlier comment. Okay. Lewis says, I watch fitness videos. The struggle is really inspiring to get you to see the story and the transformation. Yeah, totally. What's update? When is the cutoff for the free trial of your course? It has come and gone. If you join the email list, which you can do by downloading, if you've not already done it, by downloading the checklist, you will be joining the Story Greenlight Insider email list, and you'll get notifications of that. What's update? I think the non-obvious is a key point. Sometimes there's a tendency to spell things out when your audience would prefer to come to the realization themselves. 100%. I'm like throwing napkins. Yes, yes, exactly. It's people love to learn. They love to figure things out without being spoon-fed, which is a whole other issue that I've dealt with over my career as a television editor, because so much of the television content until recent years has been, here is a spoon, now I'm going to feed you, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you should think and what you should feel. Where it's like, well, people are like, well, no, I want to be able to figure things out for myself. Okay. Lindsay Murphy. Howdy. Good to see you. Catholic Marathon Mods. Oh, not the Browns. Yeah. It's a tough deal. But I'm telling you, the Browns make up for their collective pain by their collective partying. It's no joke. I've participated in a tailgate party. It's crazy. Let's see, book your imagination. Use your son growing to be a man as an example. Would this be something that you'd include in multiple videos as a thing under the thing? Yeah, well, frankly, like my son, Levi, you know, I'm intending to, as long as he's down with it, and frankly, he's too young to not be down with it right now. He just wants to hang out with Dad. I want to include him because, yeah, he's a cute little kid, and he represents so many things, like innocence, childhood, learning, growing, mistakes, all that stuff. So he is a living, walking thing under the thing. So, yeah, be expecting to see more of Levi in future content. All right, so making it a little bit more specific here about some Story Greenlight subscribers who are using the thing under the thing very well. There's a gal by the name of Caren Goodrich. She is an artist. She pours paint, and she does crazy cool stuff with the way that she puts her content together. Now, just going to say, people are going to look at Caren's content on the surface and say, oh, well, she's doing tutorial. But without saying anything, Caren's content, and she and I have actually had a brief discussion on this, it's not just about pouring paint. That is the thing. That is the surface. What she is doing in her channel, what she is doing, like when she's putting together packs of paint that she's done all the mixing and she has all these recipes basically, and she's offering those for sale to her subscribers through Amazon affiliates, Amazon affiliate links and all that stuff, and just showing how the process works. She is not just pouring paint. She is empowering creativity. She is helping people rise up and increase their creative output so they can bring value to the world. It's some pretty cool stuff what she's doing. There is another subscriber here at Story Greenlight called Weedham and Reap. And the Walford family, they live in Arizona, and they have goats and chickens, and and pigs, actually. I didn't include a shot of the pigs, but they are all about urban farming and healthy living. Now, their content on the surface is about, oh, something happened to the light. It's just like, it just blinded me. Okay, we'll roll with it. So Weedham and Reap, on the surface, they are about, their tagline is urban farming, healthy living. That's the surface. It's animals in the backyard, basically. But what they are about, their thing under the thing as a channel, they are about self-sufficiency. They raise their own animals. They raise their own eggs. They produce their own goat milk. They milk the goats every day. They are increasingly self-sufficient, and they are showing people how to do that for themselves. And frankly, there's an element of we are not like everyone else. It's a way to be unique, and their audience, which is growing crazy fast, their audience is seeing with a way that, oh, maybe I could try this and maybe I could be kind of unique and stand out from the crowd. So to make me, in my self-image, feel like I am more special, because that is a huge, huge driver of the human psyche, is to want to elevate one's status and to stand out, to be special, all that kind of a thing. So those are a couple examples, and I want to check back in with your comments. Lewis says, I understand now completely. That's why kids love kids shows, because they ask a question, what color is this? It's blue. You're right, good job. They get them to realize it themselves. 100%, yes. Lindsay, my thing under the thing would be my family as well. My health is my thing, but my family is the reason I care about my health. Absolutely. And that is social grouping. The way these connections, it's social groupings and beliefs, values, desires, the desire to be present for one's family, the value of family, the value of intimate relationships, the value of closeness as a family, and the value of health. And it's like all these things, they can all just be sitting. They can all just be sitting. You don't even have to say it. All they have to do is just be there, and that that they're there when you're creating your content, and that will put you well on your way. That will put you well on your way to really dialing in the thing under the thing for your content. So the way to make this happen for you, to figure out your thing under the thing, both for your own content as a whole, but also for individual pieces, because it exists on those multiple planes, like on the big scale and on the smaller scale. You need to ask questions. You need to say, what do I want to see happen? What do I want my audience to know, do, or feel after they experience my piece? And then you have to ask why, preferably twice. Why do I want them to know or do or feel this? And then why do I want that? And once you start asking those kind of questions, you're going to be digging into some really, really deep foundational places that people will build incredibly strong connections with. And I will tell you, as important as those questions are, it is only the beginning of the questions that really need to be asked for you to really dial in your content, which is why I'm going to keep holding this up in front of the camera until the end of time, because these questions, which you can get this checklist for free in the link below, and you can also get a breakdown of this with the video course that I've released of me going through every single point and helping you figure that out for yourself. You have to ask questions, because when we stop asking questions, we're done. It's just, it doesn't work. Let me back up. When you stop asking questions, you stop learning and you stop growing. So you might continue doing what you're doing, but eventually you will stagnate and your connection with your audience will start to drop off. So definitely don't want that to happen for any of you guys. I'm gonna check one more time for the comments. Very cool. It is really good hanging out with you. If you've found value in this, hit that like button. It does help. Thumbs up, hit the like button. Certainly, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Do that. Would love to see you around some more. We do this every other Wednesday as of right now. I alternate live streams with produced pieces every other Wednesday. And in the meantime, I'm Jeff Bartsch, and this is Story Greenlight. And please remember, you need to keep telling your stories. You have to dig into what is important, because it will help you connect with your audience so that you can spread your message, because your message matters and you matter, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. So good hanging out with you. I'll see you next time.